Morning or afternoon, Amy. Morning. All right. How you doing, Kurt? You're muted. Now you. Hey, Ben. Good. You hear my music? Just checking. Can you hear the music?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. I always try to play something different for the parents each week. Seeing if people can guess what I'm playing. What's that? Oh, sorry. Hey Kurt, today in class, so not only did Taylor keep her camera on all the time, which was great, I got 11 students to keep their camera on today. It was, it was just one of those things where I kind of started off class, and it was one of those things where I talked about yesterday with kind of trying to get a critical mass.
Yeah.
Like I just got a couple of kids, and then they just I kept asking more kids to do it, and more kids kept keeping their camera on, and it was actually really cool to see, especially for that hour, to get that many. I probably think more than 2 all year in that 8th hour class, and so I had 11 today. It was really neat. So
we should have like a class prize or something. If we can get like all 25 of them on for
and it was interesting because I asked the kids, I go, so is this like a lot for you guys in your classes to have the cameras on? They're like, no. I'm like, well then why aren't you keeping your camera on then? Like I was feeling all proud of myself to get 11 kids. They're like, no. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you guys totally deflated me. But it was actually really cool. And I hope that we can continue that with that hour, because it was, it's something that I want to keep pushing with them. And so it was just great to see kind of like, I kept asking a kid, like, who's going to be number 10? I tried to come up with who's going to be like, I'm like Fantastic 10. And so then a kid came on, I go, who's going to be like Awesome 11?
Right,
And
right.
then finally I got 11 kids to come on, and I was like, gosh, this is actually good.
Well, it's probably a little more rewarding. That's good.
A little bit.
That's cool.
It was good.
Well, then I'll just do this.
Yeah, I know. It's like I tried talking to the kids sometime. I was like, like what happens like if I just do this? Do you guys mind that? And they're like, no, not really. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I would.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good, and I think maybe too, just because after conferences, I know all the teachers, we were talking about, having cameras on and stuff like that. So I think there we had kind of had this critical mass of communication with the kids about keeping cameras on. But it was just something I was trying really hard, especially with that 8th hour group. And it was really fun. Like it was really neat to actually see students who I hadn't seen at all this year. I had no clue what they looked like.
Wow.
There was this kid in Mr. Monzon's class who
favorite baseball hat or something like that.
There was this kid in so my 8th hour is with Mr. Monzon, and it's the two of us. And there was this kid who I bet he had to have been like 6'4", 250. And at first I thought he was like a parent. And I was like, oh, I wanted to say to him, like, sir, are you supposed to be here? And I was like, how do I very gently say to this parent, you're not supposed to be here and it's okay. And so I called out his name, and then I heard him talk, and he had like the most like sweet sounding, soft, mellow voice. And I was like, well, this has got to be some kid. Now, this isn't some dad. But I was like, oh my gosh, this kid is huge.
Which
so it was neat to be able to see some kids for the first time. And, actually like, oh, like there is a face behind this name. This is cool. So, well, thank you very much, everybody, for coming tonight. I wasn't expecting, I was debating about whether or not even to do one. And I knew that a lot of you, I had actually talked with you last night. So I kind of felt like it was just going to be a repeat of things. So I was trying to figure out what to talk with you guys about and things like that. Is there anything in particular that you would like to talk about first? Or questions that you have that you'd like to hear anything about? Don't all jump in at once.
Just the general consensus from the conference or the parent-teacher conferences or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it was, well, as I kind of said to a lot of you, it was an interesting, as this whole year is an interesting thing. It was interesting doing parent-teacher conferences with many of you last night. It was really difficult getting to know kids this year. And so being able to try to give some feedback, some meaningful feedback was a difficult one last night. I really felt like all in all, conferences last night were very good. It was unfortunate. There was a couple of parents who I was really excited to see, and they ended up not coming. So I had 3 no-shows last night out of my full night, which actually was kind of nice to be able to have a little bit of a break then at times. I'm normally really busy at conferences. I tend to see the most parents during conferences anyways. And so being that busy wasn't something out of the ordinary for me. But all in all, I thought they went well. I think they were kind of the general consensus from hearing from you, because as I look at this group, there were actually many of you I talked with last night. So I think all in all, they went really well. I hope that was something that you felt as well. Actually would love to get your opinions about how conferences went from your perspective as well, because as, hearing about what's the, how are things going from your perspective? And I would be curious to hear how you guys felt conferences went last night. So I would kind of turn the tables to you.
Well, we haven't done ours yet. Ours is on Thursday, so I'm
Wonderful.
looking forward to something really big and exciting now.
I'll put out the horse and pony show then for you. So we'll see what we can put together.
I'm telling you secrets.
I mean, but otherwise, I think everybody else, I talked with you last night. What was your overall impressions of conferences? So I think it's good to get your feedback on it, and to be able to take that to administration and things like that. So what were your guys' feelings on things?
I felt conferences were very helpful. Thank you. I think these Tuesday meetings have been really, really helpful welcoming our freshmen to the high school, especially in this unusual time. So thank you so much for these opportunities. I felt like we kind of had mini conferences each week because at least we were kind of clued into lots of things thanks to you. So thank you, Matt.
Good. That was a comment that I kind of heard a lot from last night, which actually made me feel really good about that, kind of my goal of why I wanted to do this, I think was one that was received. And I think it was actually one that was really kind of beneficial. And it's something that I've been very, very happy to continue to keep doing it. And there's been some diehards with you guys who've been coming, week in and week out and things like that. And like I said, for many of you, you might be the first time, coming back to the high school again. So it's a brand new experience for all of you. So trying to make sure that you guys know what's going on and are up to date with stuff. So that's good. Anybody other comments from last night for conferences from you guys?
I like seeing I didn't see how you graded and just kind of seeing your criteria for what you're looking for so that I can reinforce that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So one of the things that I did mention to my to the bio team this morning, excuse me, was us really thinking about providing, and I talked with some of you about this last night and stuff, but of trying to provide a dissection experience for our students. And it's something that I feel really strongly that we need to do, and I think it's something that we should do. As many of you guys think back to your own high school experience, I know many of you remember back to your dissections. And I know from, our former students that it's one of their biggest memories of freshman year biology and most favorite memories of high school biology is doing dissections. And so it's one of the things that I think we're going to try to figure out, how do we get all of the freshmen in to do a dissection experience. I know there's a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not we're coming back and what that's going to look like, and if we do or if we don't. But I would like for us to start thinking about what we can do as another experience to provide our students coming in and kind of giving them that experience so they can take something away from this year and go like, yeah, we still got to do a dissection and we really enjoyed that, even if for what it could look like. So we're starting to brainstorm what that could be. I know there's gonna be more to come on that one. We still have to run everything by administration and things, but it's something that I wanted you to know that it's on my radar, it's on our radar as far as being able to get kids, your son or daughter into class and actually try to do something cool with them. At some point in time, I don't know what that's gonna look like, if it would be a Saturday gig, if it would be an after school gig, how long it's gonna take, the thing is, and part of it is that we have a ton of dissection animals that we ordered last year that are still sitting in boxes. And at some point in time, I'm going to be a little leery that they're going to stay fresh for another year, still sitting in boxes. And eventually they might start getting a little ripe, soft, and unusable, which then becomes kind of money that we've wasted. And we spend a fair amount of money of our budget. We spend close to 12 to almost 15% of our total budget on dissection animals each year. So I would hate for us to kind of lose this resource and this experience for our students. So that's something that I want you guys to it'll be on the radar coming more and things like that. So if it's something that we do start doing second quarter, and I actually would like to start doing it as soon as we can, I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop and putting emails out and maybe doing another group session with you guys, second quarter to talk more about that and what that's going to look like. And there's still a lot of logistics on our end that we need to figure out, but that's something that I definitely feel and like for us to do. So just going to put that out there for you. So let's see here. I did put a little agenda out here for you, so I'll just kind of run through it. Remember, this is a 4-day weekend, and I know that that's kind of an exciting thing for them, and maybe not an exciting thing for you that there's 4 days or 2 more days they're not doing anything, but that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. So one thing I would say is this, is that if any of your kids have got missing work from any class, this 4 days would be actually a great time to get it done. I don't know how many of you are going to be traveling and things like that, but this is a great time to get the grades caught up, because to make the big push then for the last 2 weeks of the quarter, as I mentioned to you before, like I know all the teachers are going to be struggling to get through their material and want to get through. And I think these last 2 weeks are going to be a really big push by teachers. So I think the workload is going to go up for all classes. And so these last 2 weeks are going to be difficult. I know, like I said, our own unit with the DNA is going to be very difficult. I'm sure you've heard about it already tonight, that the first day was kind of a tough day. And so having these 4 days to get themselves caught up is huge, because they're not going to get caught up over the next 2 weeks if they're still also trying to do the current work. So having these 4 days would be awesome. So, and there's a lot of meaningful work that can be done with that part. My goal is still, which kind of leads into, so the missing work does kind of, play into this whole idea of my number 4 on my agenda items, quarter and semester grades. So the end of the quarter will be 2 weeks from this Friday. November 6th is the end of the quarter, which then also technically then does kind of in a not real serious, somewhat way, but it's the end of the semester then for the kids. One of the nice things about this is that we still, the end of the second quarter would technically be like January 22nd or 16th or something like that. So there's plenty of time, and we'll actually still take late work through that whole time. So there's still actually chances to raise first quarter grades, even though they're in second quarter, because that actually still is their semester grade. So something, again, to really kind of keep in mind is that their quarter grade does become their semester grade. For many students, they're in great shape. The DNA test will actually have a pretty big impact upon that, which is going to be our last summative assessment. So that 80% is going to be kind of the determining factor for many students, whether they keep the letter grade that they currently have, or if their letter grade is going to go up or down based upon that test. For some students, though, it could mean the difference between failing and passing. So making sure that students who are in that jeopardy of failing are getting their late work done and turned in over these next 4 days, which then helps that kind of increase that kind of bubble and cushion going into the DNA test. So that, again, just to remind you that if they do fail, now technically, again, they have until probably January 16th to turn in work and not fail. But a failing student then doesn't earn that semester credit, that half a credit. And so, that while for science, they only need 3 credits technically to graduate from high school, for most colleges and universities, even now we're looking at like La Crosse and Eau Claire are requiring or really looking at 4 years of science. UW-Madison is definitely for sure 4 years and probably even 5. So, depending upon what level of college or next step students are looking for, really needing maybe actually 4 years of science. And so this semester does play a really big part in that. One of the things that I'm trying to tell them, and I've been kind of reiterating to them, is that their first GPA is their most important GPA. Maybe you remember back to your college days and things like that. And, I kind of share my own experience of my college experience with them about grades and GPA. And, I didn't do very well my freshman year of college, and I was behind the 8 ball, and I had dug myself a really deep hole, and I barely got to see out of it by the end of college. And it was something that I was super proud of, but I didn't have a lot to show for it, actually, because the hole was pretty deep. So, trying to really get them to understand that this first GPA is a really important one, and does set the tone and the stage for what the next 3.5 years, can look like. So, you just kind of just keep reiterating that same message at home. So any questions about that quarter semester grade? I know that can be kind of a confusing one in the time that we're in. They really only get this 1 quarter to make their semester grade instead of having 2 quarters averaged together. So it's a little bit different. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And if it doesn't, please feel free to, ask questions, reach out or whatever. I'd be more than happy to help explain that a little bit more. Egg Lab, I'm still trying to get those graded. As I told you, I've been working hard to get the DNA unit up and running, and I'm now there. And I have the DNA or the first 2 assignments in the DNA corrected and in the grade book. So now I get to focus on the Egg Lab. Students will be able to make corrections on the Egg Lab. So one of the things that we did teach their students today was how to view the feedback. Because even though that we had taught that to everybody, many students had forgotten how to actually view the feedback that we've been giving the students. So we showed all that to everybody again today. I'll be sending out a video. I just haven't had a chance yet today to send that to them. I did include it in the agenda that I sent to you guys tonight. So you have the video to show your son or daughter how to access the comments in an assignment. So kind of everybody now can be somewhat on the same page as far as how to view comments that I make on assignments and things like that. So the Egg Lab is going to be my kind of homework over the 4-day break. Students will be able to make one, they can go back and redo it and make all the corrections they want, and they can get one resubmission to then change their grade on that assignment then. So that will be my homework for the weekend as far as trying to get those things finished up so that students can work on those things. So yeah. The start to the DNA unit was today. Maybe you heard something about it from your son or daughter today that they probably said, oh my gosh, it was really hard. It was really fast. There's a lot of information and Mr. Austin talks super fast. Yeah, I did actually. That's how it kind of went. Today was the big day. I had a lot of things to get through. I'm trying to, and unfortunately kind of, from where we ended yesterday to where I really want us to be tomorrow, today was a really big gap. And so you're right, today was a lot of information. So I had heard in the chat from the other teachers that, wow, they're a little freaked out. And I don't know if you heard that tonight. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. You probably will. That they're maybe a little nervous about this, which is, I think it's a good thing right now. I do want our students, all of our students, I want my students to realize that there is a difference between middle school and high school. I think so far, I feel, and this is where I've heard some differing things, which has actually been really good, but I think we've actually been pretty light on the work with everything. And I think it's time to kind of step up the pace a little bit. Again, this is a typical unit that we do teach. This is not something that we're trying to torture your kid with. This is actually a unit that we do teach in school. I don't think I want to tell you how long I actually do get to teach it for, because then you're going to be really annoyed. But I'm trying to do this in a pretty short amount of time. And again, my goal is to do things in a half hour or less, so that then there's 15 minutes of class time at least to go through the homework in particular and start the homework and kind of talk about where I think some of the pitfalls might be. I know I've been pumping hard the office hours. I had 2 students today come to office hours from 3 to 4 because they just didn't get what I was talking about today in class. And it was an awesome experience to be in a Zoom room with these 2 kids and like literally one of them came in, he's like, I have no clue what you did today. And he goes, you were going way too fast for me. And so we kind of started back from the square one. I said, well, did you get this part? And he goes, yeah, I think I got that part. And I go, okay, good. And so then we got to the next part, and I basically retaught the lesson to him. And he goes, oh my gosh, this was awesome. And he goes, thank you for doing this. And I said, hey, I love this. This is awesome. And then I had another kid who's, she needed some information on the egg lab, and we sat and talked, and I helped her get some stuff going. And, at the end, she said the same to me. She's like, thank you very much for taking this time. I really appreciated it. And I said the same thing. I said, thank you very much for coming. Like, I enjoy doing this. So for me, being able to use the office hours to actually teach is a great thing for me. So I would continue to keep stressing that if your kid is struggling, to have them come to office hours. And it's something that I told the students today, that coming, especially right away from the 3 to 4, to get that, like, it wasn't clicking for me today, to get that help. And then to go, okay, now I'm trying the homework and I'm still struggling with the homework, come to the office hours in the morning then and get help on that. And I really do hope that we're going to see an uptick in the students coming. Today was an awesome experience for me, and I hope that more and more students come and utilize that time and that resource. So, I mean, for us, giving 3 hours of time where I'm giving 4 hours to teaching, I mean, that's a pretty huge thing when, there's 3 more hours of contact time that kids can have versus the 45 minutes that they're getting, is a pretty amazing thing. And so I loved it when kids came in and they were super appreciative, and it made me feel really good about that. So I took today as a nice big win, even though I woke up at 4 o'clock and I was a little anxious, a little nervous. I told the kids I only threw up twice before class, and a couple of kids were I didn't actually throw up. I just wanted them to realize I was a little nervous. But it was a good day, and it felt good to be back, kind of back in the saddle and back in the swing of things again. And I look forward to tomorrow and the rest of the unit with that. So that's kind of about it. That's all I really got. That's kind of the new 411 since last night, since I look around this group, and I saw many of you last night. So that's the new information since not even 24 hours. So hopefully that was a good thing. What do you guys have questions now that you've heard some things from me? Are there any things that you would like to know any more information about, or things like that? You guys are just like the kids. It's awesome.
Well, so far, my son said that the DNA stuff was not bad. So we'll see how he does with his homework tonight.
Good.
He's working on it now.
That's
So
good to hear. Like I told you, there's going to be more of it. So if they're spending more time on it, don't be surprised, right? Don't sit there and go like, oh my gosh, you're spending, 45 minutes to an hour on this one assignment. Yeah, they might be. This is going to be, and the thing that I told them is that the reason why there's all this work is because I want them to do well on the test. And this is all practice. The more practice they can get, the better they're going to do on this test. And since it's the last one, there's a lot kind of riding on it. So, have them come to office hours, get the help, email, all that stuff will make it all work. So anything else from you guys? Awesome. Hey, I'm not even gonna count to 3 anymore. Like this is it then for us. So let's see here. What do we've got next week, Tuesday, and the following week, Tuesday? There's only 2 more Tuesdays. I kind of feel like then we maybe should have like a party or something like that. It's going to be kind of weird not seeing you guys anymore. I feel like I've gotten to know many of you just by looking at you, because we don't tend to do a lot of talking sometimes. So that's how it works. It's kind of like teaching. It's good stuff. At least there's some body language to be able to read tonight. I do appreciate many of you get a little reaction when I give a little joke and you kind of chuckle a little bit. That makes me feel good. Like I'm making this connection with you guys. So I'm going to miss you. So otherwise, if you have something that you really need to know, talk about, again, is if once this dissection stuff comes to a little bit clearer focus for us, I'll be definitely keeping all of you in touch. Many of you last night said that you'd be willing to help out and volunteer in that process, which I totally appreciate. As far as, you know, what that could look like, moving kids, being even at school, you know, so we're trying to figure that part out. How do we social distance and actually still get groups together? We're going to have to do dissections in groups of 4. So that's kind of the hard part is we don't have enough animals to do 1 per kid. We actually never planned for that. So that's kind of the hard part is how do we get 4 kids around a thing that's no bigger than my iPad and still socially distance. So if you have any ideas, I would be more than happy to take them from you. But we're going to try to figure that process out for everybody and provide a great experience for your kids. So that's one of the things that, again, is a goal of mine. So other than that, anything else? All right, going once, going twice. Have a great night. Take care, be safe, enjoy your 4 days or however days you might get. Leah, I see you juggling back there. Nice job. Okay, that's good. I can juggle too, just maybe not that well. I actually did teach juggling one time in class, so that was a good thing. So everybody else have a great time. Take care, be safe, keep staying safe with you and your family. Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Enjoy. That's pretty good, Leah. Can you do 2 balls in one hand and 1 in the other and make it look like you're juggling? You know, the other one's got to go up and down too. That's sweet. So tomorrow, guess what you're doing on camera? Yeah, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, why did I do that, huh? I just walked into that one totally. So Leah, just so you know, I will be saying that tomorrow in class to have you juggle on camera.
It's also Katie's birthday on Thursday, so you can wish her happy birthday.
Katie who?
Adams.
Oh, okay.
In 6th hour.
On
Yeah,
Friday?
she's our neighbor behind us. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll sing happy birthday. Have we sang happy birthday yet, Leah, in class?
Yeah, we sang to Sarah Lee.
Oh, is it Sarah Lee on the first day or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was when I do birthdays in class, the tradition is that the birthday person gets to pick who stands on tables. So either the birthday person can stand on the table and then we sing happy birthday to them, or everybody else stands on the table and we sing happy birthday to the birthday person. So it was actually kind of fun it was like the first or second day of school, we had a kid have her birthday and everybody turned their camera on and Sarah said that she wanted everybody else to stand. So everybody, I don't know if they stood actually on the table they were at or they all stood up and we sang happy birthday to her. It's actually really neat way to start off school. So thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. And if I forget while you're juggling tomorrow, you can remind me.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. All right. Thanks for showing me that.
Katie will appreciate it, I'm sure.
Oh, that's great. No, I love that.
All
And
right.
that was our 6th grader just poked his head in.
Well, he wants me as a teacher then when he comes back to 9th grade, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I tend to get the siblings. Well, we actually all tend to get the sibling. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know if they actually try to do that on purpose, but I tend to get a lot of them. So, although it was interesting this year, because since we're all doing classes together, I have noticed that this year I don't have a lot of them. It was kind of a weird thing. I see a lot of other kids and like, hey, how was your brother? Or how's your sister doing? So it's kind of neat to see all that stuff. So, all right. Well, you guys have to take care. Have a great night tonight.
All right. Thank you.
You too.
We'll see ya. Good night.